Hello and welcome to another Racing Post Postscript. We're at the end of the third day of Royal Ascot 2019, Gold Cup Day, Ladies' Day, and really only sort of one big talking point from today, DJ, and that's, well, I suppose two talking points. The Gold Cup itself, Stradivarius, magnificent, and that man, Frankie Dettori.
Yeah.
4 winners.
I need to lie down. I'm wrecked. It was one of them days, it just sapped the energy out of you. It was incredible. I actually started to believe that all 6 winners was going to happen. I really did. I got caught up in the emotion of it all.
You weren't the only one.
And I was going, I'm going to be here at Ascot the day Frankie Dettori rides 6 winners at Royal Ascot. That will never be done again. And I'm thinking to myself, this is absolutely magic. And obviously everybody was talking about the bookmakers and how it was going to affect them and their massive losses, and they were going to be throwing out P45s to all their staffs and everything. But Turgenev was quite interesting because it looked like he was going to win convincingly a furlong out, and then it was almost like the winner was the big party pooper and just spoiled it all for the rest of us. But an incredible day, and I suppose Stradivarius almost got lost in the Frankie frenzy because if Frankie hadn't done that, all we'd be talking about was Stradivarius, best stayer since Yates, defending his crown, one of the best renewals of the Gold Cup we've seen in a long time, Melbourne Cup winner, Irish St Leger winner, St Leger winner in Capri as well, and he beat them all and beat them well. And I think he is an incredible stayer. Some of the quotes afterwards were terrific, John Gosling comparing him to a street fighter, and he'd love to fight somebody 10 feet taller than him and everything. So a really, really good day. I thought it was the first day where everything went really well for everybody, as in it was just brilliant to be here. There was a terrific atmosphere, and when Frankie won the Gold Cup, that was the peak for me this week anyway. I thought it was fantastic.
Even the weather was good today, actually, wasn't it? Yeah,
unbelievable. I just felt a drop there, so it's obviously going to come back. But the weather was terrific. It was really warm. Everybody was in good form, having a few drinks, and there was almost a Cheltenham type of feel to the day. There was that type of an atmosphere. It was there was a hum around the place. Sometimes it can be quite quiet, but there was a hum around the place, and I certainly enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, there was. I mean, I went. You talk about it being a bit like Cheltenham. I'd agree. I went around and did a fashion piece. You should check that out, actually. It's also on our YouTube channel. You should go and have a look. Yeah. I went around and did a fashion piece, and I sort of, I'm a racing man, and I sort of, fashion, all that. It's all about the racing.
If you want to help her, I don't mind. You get all the good jobs.
Do it. Actually, the racing really did take centre stage today because it was magnificent. It was just so exciting. Actually, just another note as well. You mentioned the bookies. Obviously, our postcast regular Paul Binners, he was despairing after the Gold Cup. He said, "Do you know what? You might need to replace me." Or he said, "I might not be on the postcast tomorrow." He said, "I'll be out of a job. It's going to be the world's end if that man rides 6 winners." Yeah,
it is great to hear these bookmakers' reaction, and the exaggeration I find absolutely incredible because it's I love Binners, and it's brilliant, and you hear all the bookmakers reps and they're worried for their jobs and all this. I don't think it's ever as big as they're kind of letting on. It's a fantastic story. I don't know how many people did a Frankie Dettori lucky 63 today with his 6 mouths. I doubt there was too many. Maybe there were, maybe I'm wrong, but I think people maybe after the first or the second, maybe then started doing their trebles and doubles, but I think Binners still would have been in a job tomorrow, even if the 6 of them had won.
I'm sure he would have been. I think it was probably more that, suddenly, horses that shouldn't have been favourite that he was riding, were suddenly tumbling in odds and things like that. So obviously would have cost him. But alas, it wasn't to be. Harry Bentley, good friend of mine, actually foiled him. And then in the last race, Aidan O'Brien, another superstar of the sport, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it was, from my point of view, it was absolutely demoralising because my strongest fancy today was Constantinople. So tipped it on the podcast. Everything was going perfectly well. Ryan gave it a perfect ride, I thought. Gaps open at the right time. Away you go, win your race. And he's I'll try and be nice to him here. He's just still a little bit of a baby. I think he still has a bit of growing up to do, Constantinople. I think he will end up being by far the best horse in that race. I wouldn't rule him out of being a St Leger candidate because I think he is very, very good. Now the winner swept down the outside and it was almost shame he was looking across going, uh-oh, I'm after beating the fancied one. But it was the winner was very good, and I'd say is an improving horse, South Pacific. But Constantinople, yeah, it was gut wrenching from my point of view. But it was another terrific race. There were some great finishes today.
Okay, so gut wrenching, but you'll keep the faith.
Yeah, I think he's a good horse. If you see him, he's huge. Like he dwarfs some of his rivals in the paddock, and I think he's one that will frustrate you, because I don't know if we'll ever see the ceiling of his ability. But I do think he's a huge engine.
Okay. One horse that we know has a huge engine is Stradivarius. I'm going to end this by asking you, can he do it again? Can he win that WH Stayers Million again?
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't say there's any big prices about it happening now. He's got this thing where he can win whatever way he likes, and that if he has to be flamboyant and flashy, he'll produce maybe one of those real flashy performances every season. But he's got this ability to get down and dirty if he's hemmed in, and if he needs a gap, he'll elbow his way out of it, so he will, and he'll get the gap. Like I asked John Gosden after the race, I said, you must have been really, really worried early in the home straight. You know, Donncha, O'Brien and Capri was on your outside. It looked like there was nowhere to go. And for about 5 or 6 strides, I was petrified that he wouldn't get out, because I really wanted him to win for the race and for the occasion and everything. Yeah. And he said, no, to be honest, the horse is so small and Frankie is so small that I knew they'd find some hole somewhere, and they did. That's what happened. So he will. I would be shocked if he didn't win the million again this year. And like, I know it's very hard to know what will happen, injuries and well-being and everything, but like, it's very hard to see something coming through the ranks to stop him next year. He's only 5, and I just think he could be maybe a horse to emulate Yates and win 4.
Wow, high praise indeed.
Yeah.
Just going back to, like you said about John Gosden, was he worried during the race? He was worried before the race had even started. I spoke to him earlier this week, and he said, you know, the rain, he was doing, you know, weather watches. He was terrified by the rain, because he just thought it would kind of diminish that little burst of speed that he has. But his ability to win when things are against him, just a mark of a true class horse, isn't it? He's a remarkable horse. Yeah,
Tom Siegel always says, you know, the real good horses, the best will go on any ground, and I think that's the case with Stradivarius. I think whatever way it comes up, he's obviously better on faster ground. I think he's at his best when he can hear his hooves rattle, but I thought today the ground probably just dried out enough for him to see. Like, he won. I think the official margin was a length, but it was more authoritative than that. I thought he was always going to win once he got the gap, and it was quite snug. I thought it was he was value for more than the winning margin, and I think we'll be seeing a lot more of Stradivarius.
Excellent. A fantastic day of racing here at Royal Ascot. 2 more days yet to come, and don't forget, you can download the Racing Post app for all the must-have Royal Ascot info.